Hey everyone, I just want to give everyone an update on development. So basically, I ended up doing some modifications to the kernel, which is the processor clock speed. I upped it 200 megahertz, so you basically have an overclock on the GPU and the CPU. The GPU I managed to get about 300. On the CPU I managed about 200, and be completely stable, and that should be accessible for almost every ST10 in the world. Um, Also, I did some Wi-Fi band changes. The 5.8 band is now, or I should say, can now be upped in 5 millivolt increments. So how this works is I made a menu where when the ST10 boots up, after you get to this screen that you're seeing right now, wait about 10 or 15 seconds and a new app's going to pop up, or a new screen. On that screen you have options like set the overclock for the kernel, a flight checklist. So before you take off, I have 4 and 9 right now, but I plan on adding more. It's just a checklist where you can press the checkbox and it'll check off that option. I also have the option for optimizing RAM management, which will severely decrease stutter and FPV flight. The overclock does help with that also. And of course, the Wi Fi band I was telling you about. If you press the button, every time you press that certain button on that screen that comes up, it'll up the power of the 5.8 band 5 millivolts. Now, uh, it is not to be abused. Don't just see the screen and start spamming the button, because I'm telling you right now, you're just gonna restart your ST10 1,000 times. If you go over the limit of power that I have set to for from the battery, there's a set power draw in the kernel. If you go over that set power draw, the device restarts automatically. I have it set low like that on purpose so you don't blow up your remote. But I've managed to get about 20 millivolts up, which gets me about 2 to 300 foot more range out of stock. So we're going to show you that menu right now. Usually it would come up when the ST10 boots. Mine is already loaded, so it's not going to come up. So I have to activate it manually. So I'm going to go through my main way to activate it here, which, like I said, on your end, it'll be as soon as it boots up. Wait 10 or 15 seconds after that screen comes up, and it'll just pop it up on the screen. I'm going to go to launcher here. Launch up launcher. Alright. Now we're at the home screen here. I'm going to wait about 10 or 15 seconds. I can't stress this to you enough, but like I said, on yours, all you'll be able to do is just, S10's off. As soon as you flip up the power button, wait for it to go through its boot process, and once it comes to that home screen where it says connecting RC, I'll wait 10 or 15 seconds, and then this screen will come up right here. So here's your options. We have set kernel overclock, which if I choose that right now, you'll see at the bottom it should say overwrite successful. As you can see, it does. So that just upped the overclock on the CPU and the graphics chip. Mine set for 200 CPU, 300 GPU. These are the checkboxes for the pre-flight checklist. Like I said, I have those 4 right now. That's what I personally like to have. The execute RAM timings, that'll tell you it's successful. That basically just changes how fast the RAM communicates with the processor through the North Bridge. And then the other one over here, the 5.8 gigahertz plus 5 milliwatts, that's exactly what I was talking to you about. I'm going to press it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Because mine doesn't like to go anything over 4. It'll change per device. So sometimes it'll crash on yours at 8. I don't know. Depends on the device. I think I might change that and limit it to about 4, though, just to, prevent problems. I don't want things, remote to be so crazily overclocked that you end up flying and it shuts off or something. I definitely do not want that. I want it to be within absolutely safe, so I can be completely confident that everybody who does this mod can fly for 20 hours straight and the remote be totally fine. So I'll make sure that that is done correctly. At the end here where it says pre-flight complete, you choose that. What it's going to do is close all currently open apps. I obviously have a different way of loading my thing, but usually it would take you right back to the ST10 screen right now. It would take you right back to, I'll show you, take you right back to this screen. And that button there at the bottom that I just chose, what it does is that exit pre-flight, it just closes all the apps. So anything you have open, if you opened up the YouTube app or anything on the device, it shuts them all off, disables them, so the controller and the phone inside of here can only focus on you flying. I guess that was a good explanation, I guess. I'm sorry for it to be a little bit drawn out. I want to make sure everyone understands what I'm talking about, and the actual tutorial video on this should be up tomorrow, and at the latest the next day. But I'm pretty sure it should be tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit lengthy. It does take about half an hour to 40 minutes of your time. So do make sure you have time for that if you plan on doing it. Other than that, if you have any questions, please let me know through a personal message or on the forum or on my YouTube channel.